Thank you and welcome. Today is Thursday, April 16th, 2026. It's 3 p.m. We are at 19 Parnell Street in the Township of Greater Madawaska. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Resolution, please.
Be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Greater Madawaska calls to order the April 16th, 2026 regular council meeting at 3 p.m.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Please stand for O Canada if you can. I'm talking about myself right now. Thank you. Please be seated. As we gather in chambers, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We'd like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect, our support for the rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many continued displays of friendship. We also thank all generations of people who have taken care of these lands for thousands of years. Thank you, miigwech. We'll now move on to section 4.1, approval of the agenda. Resolution, please.
That the agenda of the council meeting of April 16th, 2026 be approved as amended with the addition of item 7.3 daycare Faye Lemonchick.
Thank you. Can we have a mover, please? And with Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Tripp. Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We will now move on to 5.1, approval of minutes. Resolutions, please.
Be it resolved that the following minutes are approved by council March 19th, 2026, regular council.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. You've all had a chance to review these prior to arriving. I will call the question then. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Move on to resolution 67-26, please.
Be it resolved that the following minutes are accepted by council February 24th, 2026, Canada Day Committee.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Thompson. And we've all had a chance to review these. Is there any deletions or changes that need to be made? No? Call the question then. All in favor? Thank you. So carried. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? There is none seen. Thank you. We will now, we'll now move on to Section 7, delegations and presentations. 7.1 is 2025 financial statements by Welsh LPP Chartered Professional Accountants. And I just ask you to introduce yourselves and just remember we're on camera, so we're speaking to the public at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members of council and staff and members of the public. We're grateful for the invitation to speak to you today on the results of our audit work on the Township's 2025 financial statements. So with me today is Megan Zebarth, who assisted and led the conduct of the audit over the past few months here with the assistance of Township staff. So I'll bring on screen some presentation documents, but I'll also speak to them over the course of the meeting. What we'll talk about today is the audit plan that we put in place and undertook over the course of the past few months, the results of our work, and then we'll go through some formal reporting to council that we have to do under auditing standards. And then we're in your hands in terms of any questions you may have over the remainder of our time here. In terms of, if we go to the next slide, the areas of responsibility in terms of an audit. So management prepares the financial statements and is responsible ultimately for the internal controls and presentation in this document. Our responsibility is to opine on the document, to express an opinion on the financial statements, whether or not they are free from material misstatement under public sector accounting standards. And council oversees the process from a governance standpoint and ultimately approves these financial statements. So just wanted to kind of position sort of who does what in this process. In terms of our audit plan.
Excuse me for 1 second. Is this a PowerPoint that we can, it's just not taking up the full screen for some, pardon?
You could probably just lower the financial statements, right? Are they separate?
It's just tough to see, that's all.
You have both of them showing versus just a presentation as a full screen. Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you, and my apologies for that.
No worries. Technical difficulties happen.
Technical difficulties, absolutely. So in terms of our scope and approach, so what did we audit? We audited the consolidated statements of the township. So that includes the township itself and also the library board. So those are included in these statements. They were prepared under Canadian public sector accounting standards. There's a series of financial statements and formatting and notes that are included in this package. I'm not going to go through, it's a lengthy document, but
and we've all had a chance
pages.
to review that as well.
But notionally, that's sort of what they look like. We focused our audit in all areas of the township, but in the context of our plan, we focus on areas that we perceive to be of higher risk. And so in our planning for this fiscal year's audit, we focused in particular on accounts payable and accrued liabilities, long-term liabilities, that includes your long-term debt, debentures, government revenues, and payroll expenses. And those areas of focus don't really change from year to year. It's a function of materiality and risk. In terms of the timeline, we started this work in October. We haven't been here every day, obviously, but obviously it's a long process, and it's one that involves the partnership and relationship with management and its undertaking. So throughout this deck, you'll see a lot of thanks to staff, and it is a process to go through these things. And we're now kind of at that final meeting where we're ready to approve. Moving to audit results and the results of our work generally. Our audit is substantially complete. Based on the results of our work, we expect to issue an unqualified or clean audit opinion for the year ended December 31st, 2025. We've included our draft opinion in the financial statements, which you should have received in your materials as well. There are standard outstanding items at this point, which we won't necessarily go through, including a representation letter and ultimately the approval by council of the statement documents themselves. But pending those items, we'll be able to issue the formal audited financial statements in relatively short order. In terms of, next slide. Oh, financial position, there we go. Sorry about that. What I'll do is I'll just speak to a few of the key numbers that are on the statement of financial position. And maybe it might even make sense to just bring up the financial statements themselves and the statement of financial position. In terms of some of the key numbers on those financial statements, there is an accumulated surplus at the end of the year of about approximately $18.6 million. This is an accumulated number, so it's basically the sum total of all the historical years over time. That is the net financial position of the township. There are different elements on the statement of financial position in terms of the financial assets that you have, liabilities. You have a net debt position of $4.5 million approximately. And that is offset by your non-financial assets. So the most significant individual line item on your financial statements are your capital assets, your tangible capital assets, your roads, your buildings, your trucks, and so on. And those are carried at a value of $22.8 million on the balance sheet. I'll move to the statement of operations, which is the page immediately after the balance sheet, or the statement of financial position. Sorry, I missed my page here. There were, in terms of revenue, there was $8.3 million of actual revenue recorded in the year, largely made up of taxation and user charges, and $7.6 million of operating expenses, categorized on this page in terms of their area of government. So you'll see general government, protections to persons and property, transportation, et cetera. There is a schedule elsewhere in the document that goes into a lot more detail as to sort of the componentization of those expenses. So your annual surplus was $737,000 for the year. So that's a very high level kind of overview on the statements. There's a lot there. That's all I intended on doing today. But I'm happy to take any questions when we finish the presentation, which we're almost finished. So the last piece of this slide deck, if we can go to, key observations, sorry. Yeah, key observations in terms of the audit results. One thing that's important for an auditor to communicate back to the auditee at the end of their work is any key observations from the audit. We did not, in the course of our audit, identify any significant unadjusted errors. We did not identify any significant deficiencies in internal controls. There were no scope limitations. So whenever we wanted to ask a question, we had access to the right information and the right people, and we had full cooperation from management through the course of the audit. Now, if we could move to the next slide, which is formal reporting to council. You'll see a lot of those are sort of repeats of what I just went through, but you can see just a general kind of list of some of the areas that we need to report back to you in a formal sense. So no new accounting policies in the year. We've already talked about internal control deficiencies. We had no indicators of any fraud or non-compliance with any laws during the course of our work. No disagreements with management. We've already talked about misstatements, related party transactions, no significant matters to report. And finally, it's a standard procedure that we need to reaffirm our independence from the township as independent auditors. So I would take the opportunity to make that reaffirmation today, that we are independent from the township of Madawaska as auditors. The final slide is really just kind of the next steps. So sort of over to you at this point, and also just, again, thank you to management and to council for going through this audit process with us. So thank you very much. I'm happy to take any questions or over to you.
Thank you, and just a reminder, we're Greater Madawaska. Thank you, no worries. You know, little things sometimes. I will open it up to council for any questions, comments, concerns. Councilor Levesque?
Just one question for you. You noticed the shift from debt from last year to this year. Any concerns raised with that at all in terms of how that presented itself or was managed?
No significant concerns in terms of that process. There were 2 new debentures that were issued during the year. There were some issues in terms of the timing of how some of the tranches landed, but those are appropriately reflected within the financial statements, and you can see those note disclosures ultimately kind of within, I can't remember the note number, but you'll see kind of the composition of those debentures in the back. So I think it was sort of, from a quantitative perspective, a significant year in terms of the debt overall, like in terms like those 2 new debentures. So we did take a significant look at that from a risk perspective as well in the undertaking of the audit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns, comments from council? Councillor Tripp.
Just one comment. So going through the statements and the work leading up to this that we as council went through, and then the final audit is, I think, a real strong reflection on where we're going. It's one of the few times where there's been a really close alignment with the statements in the audit to the strat plan and what our priorities are. And to Councillor Levesque's comment about the debenture and the difference in debt, that was all part of the plan. And it was one of the areas that I had flagged as well. But it really aligns with the strategic direction that we're going in the council. And it's nice to see the audit and our financial statements and the work of the council kind of all come together one on this. So thank you for your work.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? No, I have one question there. Under tangible assets, tangible capital assets, sorry. Our roads, our buildings are all included, our vehicles, our supplies such as the fire equipment for the breathalyzer, that's the police equipment. Do our gravel roads, trails, easements all fall under that as well?
Roads, yes. Gravel, yes. What was the?
Easements?
Easements, they should, but they should, yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. All right, if there are no other questions, I thank you for taking your time to come out to us today on this sort of foggy day. Hopefully next time you're back out here, we'll have sunshine for you. All right, thank you very much for all the hard work you put in this. Thanks. We will now move on to 7.2, 2026 AOR's Public Works Trade Show. Chris Mantha, and there's only one of you here today. Okay.
Mayor Ware?
Yes.
I just need a second to connect, and then I'm going to share his presentation.
Okay, we're just going to take a second so we can set up the technical and share your presentation.
Thank you.
Just give us a sec here so she.
No worries.
Okay. Oops.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, I've got one already. I should take one, just, no, I should take one. Put it in the kitchen table. It's my birthday. I should go there. Every month. Wow.
So I just hit
Sorry, like
forward
and reverse.
Perfect.
And it's just going to be.
Yeah, no worries.
We're just having a good technical difficulties. There we go.
Right on.
All right.
There we go.
Thank you, Robin, for getting that on the screen for us. And please introduce yourself to everybody. I know you, but if you'd please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mayor Weir. It's great to be here in Greater Madawaska, and thank you, everyone here at Council, for welcoming me. First off, just wanted to say thank you to Renee, the CAO, Steve, the Public Works Supervisor, and Robin for helping to facilitate me coming here today. My name is Chris Mantha. I'm the Director of Public Works for the town of Petawawa. I also have the pleasure of serving as the Renfrew County Road Supervisors President. As well, I sit on the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors Board of Directors. So I come today bearing good news, I hope, to Greater Madawaska. And basically, just want to bring you up to speed on our big announcement, which is the Renfrew County Road Supervisors Association being very pleased to announce that we are hosting the 2026 Association of Ontario Road Supervisors Municipal Trade Show. It's being held in Petawawa, Ontario. And partners in this event are the County of Renfrew and the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors. So about the Renfrew County Road Supervisors Association, it was started in 1980. It represents all of the municipalities within the County of Renfrew. As well, we have representation from the Algonquins of Pikwakanagan. We have representatives from Garrison Petawawa, Canadian Nuclear Laboratories as well. We have some new members from the City of Ottawa who are interested in starting their own local association. So it's a long history of great public works professionals that have come before us and continue to advocate for our profession and serving our communities here in Renfrew County. So the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors represents 34 local associations across Ontario with over 2,000 members. And the annual municipal trade show showcases products and services and materials and technologies available to the public works industry. And it is considered to be one of the largest shows of its kind in Canada, and typically draws more than 2,000 attendees and over 200 exhibitors. So it's a two-day show. It's on June 3rd and 4th. June 2nd is the mobilization day, we'll call it, as well. There's a kickoff event and a golf tournament being held on the 2nd, and then June 3rd and 4th are the trade show dates being held in Petawawa. The show is an opportunity for public and private sector public works employees to share information and technical developments in materials, services, and equipment required to build and maintain municipal roads and core infrastructure. I heard in the presentation prior to me that you have over 20 million in core infrastructure assets, and I'm sure Stephen works hard looking after them. So the trade show is all about getting to learn more about the technologies that are available to do our jobs and to serve the public, of course, the taxpayers, and provide a level of service that we all feel is right for our residents. It also allows suppliers and municipal equipment services to display their products in one area and develop new business relationships. So it's not the first time we've hosted this great show. It's been held previously in Renfrew County in 1992 at the Petawawa Civic Center, and more recently in 2014 in Arnprior at the Nick Smith Center. So how did we come to this great announcement? It's actually been several years. So we started this journey in December of 2023 when the Renfrew County Road Supers Group submitted their application expressing of interest to the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors. And in August of 2024, we were delighted to find out that we were selected to host the 2026 trade show. So from there, the chronology has moved along. We've developed our executive committee. We've had our initial meetings. We've set up our advertising and promotional program. I believe the trade show brochure has been passed around for everybody to view. That was a big portion of that effort for advertising and promotion. And then in February of 2025, our trade show ambassador, Steve Boland, was selected. Steve, I'm sure, as you're well aware, had a great career with the County of Renfrew. He's certainly a fantastic advocate for our profession and public works. He was unable to attend today, so I'm his sub in, so hopefully I'll do okay. And we continued our chronology of getting set up for this show, getting the Pembroke Shores Golf Course booked for our big Ross Mackenzie Golf Tournament. You have your brochure. And then in June of 2025, the Renfrew County Road Supers Group attended the Woodstock Trade Show that was held and started selling our booths for our show. And we did very well at that event, and I'll expand on that in a little bit further. So there's our key personnel. This list has grown. We have representatives from the City of Pembroke, Town of Petawawa, the County of Renfrew, Town of Deep River, along with many other municipalities within the county. So we have great support, and we have a really great team working on making sure that this show is a big success. We've even brought back some members like Jerry Haley, who's been retired for a while, but he's got good experience with these shows. So we've gone to great lengths to make sure that we have the best people involved. How did it come to be held in Petawawa? And really, that's it makes sense in a lot of ways when you look at what the Association of Ontario Road Supervisors looks for in a site. First off, they look for your location based on access to a highway. Petawawa was close to Highway 17, so that the suppliers can bring their equipment and all their gear up the road fairly efficiently to the show. We needed 300 to 400 hotel rooms within a 15 to 45 minute drive from the site, which Petawawa, Pembroke, Laurentian Valley, and even further out from that, there's lots of good hotel accommodation for our guests. We needed restaurants located close by. We have that taken care of. And again, we needed a quality 18-hole golf course with a capacity to host our tournament of 144 golfers, which we have at Pembroke Shores. As well, we needed a minimum of 1 ice pad for the indoor booths. We needed sufficient outdoor booth space, Wi-Fi, hydro, demonstration areas, and lots of parking. So the Petawawa Civic Center, it has been used before for this show, and it's again, was selected as a good location based on all those needs for the show to be a success. The site layouts you see there, they were graciously done up for us by JP2G Consultants Inc. at no charge, which was fantastic. So we have all our indoor booths, all of our outdoor booths as well. We've added 10 to 12 outdoor booths. And the great news I can share is you can see from these pictures, all the red is sold. So we've been sold out now for about a month, which is fantastic news going into the home stretch to get ready for the show. So there's not a lot of stress. We know that we're going to have a great show. We just want to make sure to get the news out and have all you great folks attend. So the profile, exhibitor profile, anything and everything to do with Public Works. So it's, you know, Steve will be excited to attend as well as I, because that's what we live in every day. But from roads, bridges, building maintenance, communications, engineering, surveying, emergency disaster management, GIS, GPS systems, parks and grounds equipment, flood control, which let's all hope that that doesn't happen this year, traffic pedestrian control, transit, locates, and staff training and education. And there will be some electric and robotic equipment that will be showcased at this year's show, because electrification seems to be catching on more and more. So there'll be some new equipment there to see as well. And then who's coming? So first off, the public is free to attend. There's no charge, and we're hoping to get as many people as we possibly can out to attend our show. So there's going to be directors, engineers, superintendents, managers, supervisors, operators, right down the list. And we're also really keying in on high school students. We've reached out to all the area high schools, and we're arranging transportation for the young people to come to the show. There is a need in Public Works for more youth to become engaged in the profession. So we're really reaching out to show them that there's a lot of great jobs in Public Works. So come and look at the show and all the equipment, and maybe there'll be an interest in the future to take up the mantle after I retire. Okay, so as far as opportunities, we certainly want visitors to experience the County of Renfrew. I moved to the county in 1986, but I always consider myself a Valley boy now. I love the County of Renfrew. I have a wife and raising 3 daughters here. The County of Renfrew has been fantastic to me and my family, as well as all the unique communities that make up the county, including Greater Madawaska. I'm an avid motorcyclist. I love your roads. I never speed on them. So yeah, it's a great place, and all the unique communities have so much to offer. So we want to showcase and promote the amenities and attributes that contribute to the enhanced quality of life enjoyed by the people of the county. We want to encourage staff involvement and planning and organization of the show, and showcase pride in our communities. There's educational opportunities for staff to network, view, and discuss opportunities for enhancing the work of Public Works agencies. There's promotion of municipal amenities, businesses, and tourism opportunities. And then, of course, participation in the Ross Mackenzie Memorial Golf Tournament. So next steps. Similar to what I'm doing today, I believe we've gone to 15 of the municipalities that make up the County of Renfrew to do these presentations to council and promoting the trade show. And we hope to basically just drum up as much attendance as we can at the show. As far as support, the good news is no requirement for financial support. Mayor Weir, it's always a highlight of my presentation. There's no ask for finances. We just, all we're asking for is hopefully that council will encourage the Public Works and Recreation Department staff to attend. have permission to attend the show, and hopefully even maybe volunteer to help out with the show. There will be an email coming out shortly with a request for volunteers, and that's basically to help with site logistics. Other than that, we're just asking for people to come to the show, as well as all the good folks here around the table as elected officials. The nice thing with the show being in Renfrew County, and I'm sure Steve would echo this, typically the show is in southern part of Ontario, quite far away at times, like Woodstock was last year, and we don't always get to go to those shows. And smaller municipalities don't always have the resources to send staff to those shows and pay for the hotel rooms and the gas to get there. With the show being held in Petawawa, all the municipalities in Renfrew County should be able to send their staff. It's a short drive, good on fuel, and they can come for both days, hopefully, and really enjoy the show. Distribution of funds. So here's some more good news, and we certainly hope to eclipse this. So in 2014, when we hosted the show in Arnprior, we raised $55,833, and the money that was raised from the show goes back into the community. So we were able to give bursaries for Renfrew, all the high schools within Renfrew County. There was $30,000 that was earmarked for bursaries, $200 for each high school per year. And we've actually just, in the last 2 months, we met and we raised that bursary amount to $500. So each student at each high school, we provide a $500 bursary every year, and that's been going on since, we intend to keep it going with this trade show. So I think it's a great idea. We gave money to hospitals, $2,000 per hospital. Money was provided to county long-term care homes. We supported the School Food for Learning program. And then we did keep some funds for the training program. We kept $8,000 to assist with training for member municipalities. And there was a small amount of money that was left in the Renfrew County Road Supers General Fund. So we're really hopeful with this show that we are going to eclipse $55,000, and our intention is certainly to put the money back into the community just like we did in 2014. We did have a request from the Township of Laurentian Valley to consider giving a monetary donation to some of the local food banks, and that certainly will be considered by our group. But our goal is to do very similar to what we did in 2014. And that's essentially it. There's some contact information on the back. Like I said, very happy to be here, very proud for the Renfrew County Road Supers Association to be hosting this trade show in Renfrew County in the town of Petawawa. I have no doubt that we're going to have great support from all the local municipalities. And in the end, when the show is done, we're going to have a nice financial contribution to give back to the communities. I'm happy to take any questions. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chris, for a fabulous presentation. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning. I'll open it up to council for any questions, comments, concerns, or discussions. Councillor Popke.
What are the hours the trade show is going to be open?
Yes, thank you. Good question. It opens from 8 to 3 both days. Yeah, and it's fairly flexible. So I have a funny feeling, you know, it's probably going to go until 4. We're not going to. No one's going to be ushered out. So once you're there, yeah, we'll make it work with some flexible hours, but 8 to 3.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Councillor Thompson.
I was just going to say what a huge undertaking this is. So it's appreciated. You must be very happy it's getting toward the end of it. But yeah, I think this is wonderful, and that's it. Just good job.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. I'd like to ask one question. And Ross McKenzie charity golf tournament. Can you tell us about Ross McKenzie?
It's a great question, Mayor Weir. I wish I would have done more research on this. I can say that Mr. McKenzie was, I can't remember the municipality that he worked for, but essentially he was a public works leader that had served on his local association for many years. He's long passed, but the association's been carrying on his name, similar to the Marvin Halliday Award that's awarded each year for the Public Works Leadership and Development Program. That similar public works leader in his field And we've commemorated some of these individuals through the association, and we keep their names highlighted.
Well, thank you.
But I wish I'd brushed up on that before today, so I'm going to have that for the next one.
I was just curious. Thank you. And the other part I just want to mention or bring to your attention, or you probably thought of it already, but I want to highlight it, is you mentioned that you need some volunteers, and you also mentioned that you want to attract younger people.
Absolutely.
Have the high schools in the Petawawa, Pembroke area been asked for volunteer students because they can get their community hours through that?
Yeah, that's correct, Mayor. They have been asked that, and there will be high school students acting as volunteers, helping with traffic control, handing out water, whatever they're needed to be. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to highlight that so
sure.
that.
Yeah, I have no
mind.
doubt that we're going to have lots of volunteer support for the show.
Very good. I'm looking forward to it. Is it still true if you go there on your birthday, you get a hamburger for free?
I will ensure,
I'm just asking personally because one of those days is my birthday. So
I will ensure that you get a hamburger for free.
well, asking for a friend, sorry.
Absolutely. If it's your birthday, if it's not free, I'll pay for it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Chris. If there's no other questions, comments, concerns, I'll thank you. And once again, it was great seeing you.
Excellent. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank
Pleasure
you
to
very
be here
much.
in Greater Madawaska. Great community.
Thank you. Faye, just going to ask you to move to the microphone, if you would. And we're going to move on to 7.3 and discuss the daycare.
Don't mind me. I played chicken with my side-by-side door, and then I hit surgery. Yeah.
All righty. Once you're set there, you just let us know your name and stuff, and then we'll move on with the delegation. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Faye Lemenchik. I'm a local person here in Calabogie. I'm sure we all know why we're here, for me at least. If not, I'm here to kind of discuss the most recent topic about the daycare, the Lions Club. And I do understand many questions do need to be directed to the Lions Club, and I have requested a meeting with them as well. So please forgive me, I'm not very politically savvy in any of this stuff. I'm just was really hoping someone smarter than me was gonna do this. But I wrote something because me blabbering tends to go sideways. So, good evening, Mayor, councillors, and members of the community. My name is Faye, and I'm a grateful import to Calabogie about 7 years ago. My husband is a true Valley boy, so thankfully I'm okay there. We have 2 small boys here, and we're lucky enough to attend the daycare with Mel. Everyone here knows Mel probably. Everyone here probably loves Mel. And everyone here for sure has trusted her fully with our children. We are lucky to have her. We need her. Calabogie needs her. And this is someone you cannot afford to lose as a local business. I sit here before you tonight. I'm a proud resident here. I can say it's one of the best places in Ontario to raise a family. And I'm very blessed to be a member of this community. As Calabogie advertises ourselves as a growing, vibrant town, and the numbers do back that up, we're seeing a huge influx of new families who want to call this place home. But growth without solid foundations is just a pretty sign on an empty road. If we want people here to stay here and spend their money here, we first need to make sure the working families have somewhere safe and reliable to leave their children while they go to work. Right now, that foundation is cracking. Our beloved, trusted, and longstanding local daycare here is at risk. And with it, the ability of parents to hold jobs, contribute to our local economy, and build lives in Calabogie is too. The school day starts late, yet many of us need to be on the road pretty early to get to work. Without convenient childcare close to the school, families are forced to make the impossible choices to either leave town altogether. That's not how you sustain growth, it's actually how we lose it. Calabogie, we have the land, we have the zoning flexibilities. Zonings have changed for projects before. What needs to change? What we need is the will to act and the will to do it now. The solution I don't think is too complicated, and it doesn't require choosing sides. It requires partnerships that gives everyone a win. The current building used by the daycare is tied to the Lions Club, I'm aware. Their lease is coming up for renewal from what I understand at the community center. And everyone knows their home building needs a bit of work. Instead of letting this become a problem, let's turn it into an opportunity for the whole community. Here's a few practical win-win paths forward. Obviously, this is just me brainstorming and with no educated opinions or anything like that. So a few practical win-win paths. The township purchases or partners on the existing land and building. We construct a larger modern facility that includes a properly sized daycare run by Mel, the woman this community already trusts with our children, and plus a new proposed built Lion's Den, and perhaps even a small township satellite office or community space. This way everyone's got a foot in the door and everyone's got an asset. The new building could be funded in part through provincial and federal grants specifically available for childcare expansion and community infrastructure. Libraries, I don't know, but I'm sure we need more things here. The Lions Club receives a long-term lease or ownership stake in their portion, protected by clear legal agreements so that the daycare can never be priced out or displaced. With so many people willing to help, I think it's not unreasonable to have them lined up, permits ready, and only have the daycare temporarily held elsewhere nearby while the construction is done or fixed. I think it's amazing what can be done in this community when people work together, whether it's things that we've already done here at the rink and stuff like that. When the community does want to get together, it's amazing what people here can do and efficiently. Obviously, if the Lions Club doesn't like those ideas, or you guys, the Lions Club prefers a standalone location, the township could buy their current land, offer them an equivalent or better parcel elsewhere, still in town, just not competing for prime spots beside the school. Make a fair trade for both parties, everyone wins. Even myself, I've offered to buy the land, I've offered to buy the property. I've offered to sever them land of my own, play a little game called Swap Skis. Still waiting for that meeting with the township, with the Lions Club. Second option is equally straightforward, allocate township land near the school and community center, perhaps as part of the future health hub, or rezoning a home or facility that is already coming up for sale in the area or that's already available or owned by the township. Either way, we place the daycare where it belongs, steps away from the school so parents can drop off and pick up seamlessly before heading to work. Again, run by Melanie Brown, the one we know. Like, if you've had your kids there, you know, you can call her in a crisis, you can call her when, you know, you forgot your child at school. Not forgot, you know, there's days where we had just switched days and I may or may not have, thank God for Mel. Yeah, I understand everyone has at this table, and by that I also do include the Lions Club, Mel, everyone, has their own angle, their own priorities, and their own cards they may not want to show. That's human, but right now we don't need complaints, finger point, or anything. We need a solution that does protect the Lions Club future, secures Mel's daycare for the families who trust her with their most precious possessions, something that creates jobs, attracts new residents, and shows the province that Calabogie is serious about family-friendly growth. Between the township, the Lions Club, and the community that stands behind Mel, this is not far-fetched. It's entirely doable. We have the land, we have the need, there are grants available. All we lack is a decision to move forward together. Councillors, I ask you tonight, let's stop talking about growth and let's start building the foundation that makes it real. Approve land allocations, pursue partnerships, secure grants, and give our working families the daycare they deserve right where it makes most sense, kind of close to a school. Our children, our families, and our future are watching. Let's show them what Calabogie is made of. But that's the fancy speech. I am terrible at just speaking off the whim, but my concern is, as someone who does work in the city, I travel an hour 15 every day. My day starts at 10. I leave at 7:45 because I need to get my kids in. I gotta beat traffic. I gotta drive to the city, work 12 to 14 hour shift and come home. Without Mel right there, right beside where I can drop off my 2-year-old, drop off my 4-year-old and hit the road running, I can't survive. My family's here, my friends are here. There's a lot of families here that rely on Mel. We chose this daycare for many reasons. I understand there are other options available in different places. There are years waits for most things. Working families need the infrastructure to work. Unfortunately, like, there's no way we can even say to keep our business and keep our work here in Calabogie. That's not reasonable. There's not enough jobs for us. The pay isn't the same. I have to travel to make my income. So does my husband. And I don't think it's unreasonable that with the size that Calabogie is becoming and plan projected that it is going to become, we need something. We need something more. Our families, our community need something more. And I would love it if there was a possibility that the township kind of got involved, building a better facility with the community, with the Lions Club, if that's what it is, or separately allocating land that's up for availability, that's not being used, that's been zoned one thing, that's possibly able to be zoned something else, so that we could run a proper facility where I can take my absolutely feral 2-year-old, because nobody is watching that thing. He belongs in a cage, yet she can control him.
We'll cut that part out.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I'm here to see if there's something we can do. As a team, not attacking anybody, not fighting with anybody, and I do understand a lot of this is to do with the Lions Club, but I think this is our community, the Lions Club is part of our community, daycare is part of the community, and I think it's all very important infrastructure that it would be awesome if we could find some grants, whether to build a larger facility to accommodate a huge daycare or a township community, something to also be able to invest and take those grants and use it to what we need also to build this community. I'm not complaining. I pay a lot of taxes. My family pays a lot of taxes, and that's great. Our community is building. I would love to see something that I really do need here now to grow my family, to keep investing in my community. I'm here to stay. My family is here to stay. I think most of my friends are here to stay. We want to stay here. This is an amazing place. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to advertise it because I don't want more, but I understand it's part of life. I think daycare is just something this township, if you could, look into advancing with more funding, with more space for our kids. And obviously then the next fight would be to make sure who we trust is in that position to kind of maintain what we need. Yeah, that's it.
You have perfect timing.
Do
You
I?
actually hit dead on the 10-minute mark.
Well, there we go. I ramble.
The internal clock was working.
If you have any questions, I'll happily answer them or put them to someone more educated.
I thank you for the presentation, and as you stated that we've got to figure out what the Lions Club wants to do. So I think that's your next step, is meeting with the executive group of the Lions Club, because the building is theirs, the land is theirs, and as far as that site itself, that would be the first step, is finding out what the Lions are planning and if there's any thoughts on what they're going to do with that property. But that, for the immediate time, that's the first discussion, I believe, is to find out what they want. Do they need assistance? Do they not need assistance? And so on. And as far as your idea about the municipality building something, as you're aware, we're in the process of working on the health hub. And that's a work in progress, and we haven't determined exactly what's going to be in there, but there possibly could be a daycare type scenario there. We don't know. But the fact is, for us to build a new building, it's going to be a 2 to 3 year before we're shovels in the ground to build a building. So for the immediate time, it's a conversation that the daycare owner and the Lions Club have had, and we need to know whether the Lions Club even wants assistance from us with their property. So I think that's the next step for you. I mean, you've brought it to our attention, and we're listening, and I believe I can speak for all of us. We understand that, yeah, daycare is very, very essential and needed. I mean, and it's not just our township, it's every township in Renfrew County. It's even with the SELC assisted, I mean, for the registered daycares, we still don't have enough. And Madawaska itself, with all the military and their kids as well. So yes, it is an issue, not just even Renfrew County, probably the entire province or even Canada, but we are aware that it is a problem, and I understand it. And I thank you for highlighting it once again, but we're not going to be able to do an immediate situation where we can house a daycare in any of our buildings or our facilities But yes, going down the road, we can look at that towards the health hub as possibly, because it's a work in progress, the health hub. We don't know exactly what's going to be there, but we're working on it. So is there any other questions, comments, concerns from council at this time? Councillor Thompson.
I just want to say that we do empathize, and I did forget the day I was supposed to pick up my daughter, so I get how that goes, and that there's a desperation to it. Was it September? That I really wish there was a way to address this, but it's surprised all of us. You know, I wish we could offer something.
Thank you. That's one.
Am I allowed to ask, has anybody from the township or whoever condemned the building officially?
Yes, you're allowed to ask.
Okay. May I ask
That was the question.
Yeah, thanks.
No, to my knowledge, I'm not part of the working process of that. To my knowledge, there has been nothing from the Lions Club, or there's been no complaints. I don't, to my knowledge, but I'm not in the workings of it. So as a council, we can't answer that. But your next question?
I was more like, yeah, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think most of it, unfortunately, does go towards the Lions Club. The obligation, yeah, and that is one of the obligation for the township. I sent that in an email.
Yeah.
I think I sent you a couple emails, but like the obligation for the township to help with the daycare situation in Calabogie and stuff like that.
Yeah, and as I say, we understand, and it's on our radar, and you've highlighted again.
Yeah.
And as I say, we're moving forward with the health hub, and it's something that's, as I say, it's growing, it's changing, and with input from people, then we get to decide what's going on in there. But we're going to have, it's not just going to be up to council on what's going to be there. It's going to be up to the individual businesses that want to rent there as well. But as in the design of the building and what goes into it, yes, we are aware of the daycare issues as well. And we're also aware of the seniors issues.
A daycare solution, if, like, let's say there's no resolution between the Lions Club and daycare.
Is your mic on? Oh, sorry.
Sorry. As a township, let's say there is no resolution with the daycare with the Lions Club, because they're saying they don't have enough money to fix it. I think there's enough people that we're aware of that would financially contribute to fixing it temporarily till something's found or finished. Is there any steps that the township is taking right now to look into or advance our daycare situation in general? Like, is there an obligation for the township to kind of step up? I understand there's nothing you can do right now, there's no facility, but is there a legal obligation for the township to assist?
There's no legal obligation that I am aware of, unless there's something, an article in some law that I've never read. But yeah, there's no obligation from the township. It's an individual business. It's like any other business it's here. If it's viable and it's working for them, then it's their business choice to stay. In the daycare situation, it is, there's few daycares, as we know, and some licensed, some unlicensed, and the fact is that it's a private business as well. Yes, we know we need to have somewhere, they need to be somewhere they can rent. Do we have that facility right now? No, we don't. We don't have the place for that right now. So immediately as of September, we don't have a solution that'll be that quick. The only solution we have is when we're working forward with the health hub and anything after that. Subsequent is what I was trying to say. Anything after that, then that we can look at but it's not going to be an immediate situation where we can all of a sudden come up with a building for a daycare that they could rent.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the crisis is come September, there's gonna be a lot of families that aren't going to work. I mean, unless you guys can babysit our kids when we go there, trust me, they're not fun.
And you probably don't want what I'd charge.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
But once again, that goes into private, once again, that steps into private businesses as well, right? So yes, all I can say is, yeah, as I say, you've highlighted it, brought it to our attention, and it's part of our process of thinking about the health hub, of what's going to go in, and you've just highlighted it once again, but I'm sorry, but there's not an immediate situation or solution that we would have. But I say that I think the first step is what you need to do is do this delegation in front of the Lions Club, their executive board, because that's who makes the decisions.
Just awaiting responses from them.
Okay, well, I can't,
appreciate it. Yeah,
I
no,
can't
I
speak
was-
to that, but.
No, for sure. Cool.
But I think that's the next step for you. And once again, I say you've highlighted it once again, and we are understanding that what's going on, and thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. And Councillor Levesque, my apologies.
Sorry, thank you, Faye, for coming in and doing this. I know it was probably nerve-wracking, but you did a great job. When you meet with the Lions, I don't know if this is appropriate, but I wonder if you could communicate back to council just with the next, like what happened.
Jeff, I think what we probably want is the Lion, or something between the Lions Club and Faye
Yes,
together. It's like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying
okay.
about the outcome of that.
Yeah, but
Okay.
once they come up with a solution that's going to involve the municipality, I think that's when they need to get back to us. Their individual meetings, I don't think need to come back to the municipal level until they come up with a plan that they require us. That's my thought on that.
I'm going to keep it pretty open and
Sharing, that's
transparent
all
with
I'm thinking, but
everybody.
that's fine.
If I get any solutions or resolutions, it'll definitely be open and respectful.
You got my
of all
email, I
parties.
know that.
What's that, sir?
You have my email, I know
Yeah.
that.
I didn't know if you got them. I didn't
I
get a
did.
response.
Oh, I read.
Okay.
Yep. Well, thank you for this. And careful out there. Excuse me. Give me a second here, We will now move on to my report. I'll just give you time I'll hold for a second until everybody's, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're best to go up that door there. Thank you. Thank you. Move on to Mayor's report. Since our last regular council meeting of March 19th, 2026, I've represented the municipality at 8 county meetings. We've had 1 public meeting here in Greater Madawaska and also a committee of adjustment. And keeping with my ideals that I want to attract and inform younger people about municipal politics and the employment opportunities, on April 7th, I had the honor to speak to Madame Madawaska's grade 9 French immersion civics class at Renfrew Collegiate. I was invited by 2 phenomenal students. I'm going to name them M and K. I forgot to ask permission from them and their parents to mention their names in our meeting, so I don't want to do anything. But it was a great conversation. We talked about municipal politics, but we also expanded into municipal jobs that are available for young people. Excuse me, we talked about the different tiers of politics in Canada, and we had a good one-on-one. I apologize to the entire class. My French is not as good as theirs. I tried about halfway through, we decided English would be better, but I tried. So, to Madame Madawaska's grade 9 and 10 class, merci beaucoup pour l'invitation de la classe. C'est un bon jour. Bonjour. No, not bonjour. That means hello. It was a good day. Anyways, thank you very much. And I'd also like to really thank and Steve Inwood and his team. We've recently had some floods up in the Griffith area. Steve's team worked tirelessly and came up with a solution to save at least 8 homes. And they worked many hours. And thank you, Steve, for all the efforts and time you put into that. And make sure, please thank all your staff. Thank you. And that concludes my mayor's report. I apologize. I'm going to cough here again. I might have to get some more water. Anyways, we'll move on to 9.1, Canada Day Committee. Councillor Tripp, please.
Thank you. So Canada Day Committee is continuing to meet. We're having our next meeting next week, or coming up next week, to start putting the final touches on the organizational structure for the day. The biggest part we'll be discussing is the bans. We're just at that final stretch now of looking at and comparing possible bans for the event to play on Canada Day in Calabogie. The other major things have been booked: the fireworks, the bouncy castles, all of those structures and elements. The budget, we are on track, but we are very, very, very tight this year. A lot of costs have gone up significantly from the people that we rent services from. We're still within budget, but we will have to be very careful as we get close to the end. And I think it's something that the Canada Day Committee and future council should look at on an increase to the budget in future years or redefine, but for a longer term. I just want to mark that as something for consideration, but we will come in on budget. We will just need to be creative towards the end. Other than that, the thing is falling nicely into place, and we'll have more information on materials as they come out. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move on to 9.2, the Library Board. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. Not much to report. The CEO, Ruth, is continues to work with Township staff to just for outreach, of get more programming that is supplied here in Calabogie to other areas. I've heard bits and pieces of things they're working on, but I'll have a fuller report in May. Other than that, they were working on an audit, or the audit, and there are some new ways that are going to come forward to make sure that we don't get into a bit of a communications mess that we did this, and it's all good. And I really like that how staff and the library work together to come up with solutions without getting into any kind of tension. It's just like, this is what can offer, and I appreciate Renee working on it and the library board working on it over the weekend. So yeah, May will be a fuller report. Thank you.
Thank you, and I also make sure that I like to highlight Jen's position on that too, and all the help that she put in. That was paramount of what needed to be communicated and how it was done, so thank you. I will now move on to the Recreation and Culture Committee. Councillor Levesque.
Thank you. We haven't met since the last council meeting, so this is kind of an expanded view of what I presented last time. Earth Day cleanup, we'll be participating with the Lions Club on the 25th, Saturday, so across the township. Hopefully people will be gathering together for that and cleaning up the township, so to speak. The Recreation Committee will have a table, garbage bags, gloves, all kinds of stuff available, and including a contest for weight and type collected material. So there you go. Bring in your elephants and your cats or whatever you need to, so we'll weigh that up. The calendar of events, that's not quite ready yet, but it should be ready in time for that day for distribution, to give everybody a wholesome view of all of the events that are going to be coming up, particularly over the summer months. Other events in the works right now, the Landscape Artist of the Year is slotted for September 12th, and planning is underway for that. And then we've got other events, including the Music in the Park. I don't have the dates offhand for that, but also yoga in the park. So lots of stuff happening in the parks. And as I was reminded last time, so we're working on pushing it further events in throughout the township as much as we can. And the next meeting is on the 28th of April, and there's more to come.
Thank you, Jeff. Any questions? No. Jeff, I'm really happy the Music in the Park is going to be back. I went to them last year, the ones I could, and it was great just to sit there and listen to music in the sun, so thank you. Thank you, Robin. She takes care of us. We'll now move on to 9.4, South Ottawa Valley OPP Detachment Board. Councillor Tripp.
Perfect, thank you. So we met last week, and there's quite a bit of information coming forward now. If the public would like to access these reports, they're now published on our website under the committee section and then to South Ottawa Valley Detachment Board. There's a monthly report that's generated. It highlights activity at a higher level, so it's the 7 municipalities. But in the meat of the report, you can go down and extract out things that relate to Greater Madawaska. Going forward, we'll develop a one-pager. The highlights over the last report, there were 264 provincial offense charges laid. The report is in community engagement, the patrol visibility, traffic enforcement, and then crime and occurrence trends, and then public trust and accountability. I won't get into the granular detail here, but some of the high-level things, the 264 provincial offenses, 87 rides were completed, and of interest, there was 1 charge for impaired driving out of those. So it's an interesting trend in our area. The Easter weekend focused on seatbelts, child restraints, and they focused within the detachment area. A total of 92 charges were laid relating to seatbelts and summonses. Upcoming traffic initiatives by the OPP, the week of May 1st to 7th will be the Canadian Road Safety Week. They'll be focusing on aggressive driving, impaired, driving while prohibited, failed to yield, careless driving. May 16th to May 18th will be Safe Boating Week, so we can expect to see increased presence on our lakes as we start into the seasons. And then Motorcycle Awareness, May 12th to May 18th. Again, the report provides a lot of granular data. In terms of areas to our specific township, they're meeting, starting with the Guitars and Gasoline for this year. They're well on track. They were really impressed with the event last year. And the relationship between the police and the organizers is quite positive right now as they pull it together to get us through the year. There's also been a police increase in presence on our roads, and that's a result of the calls that people have been making, complaints for reckless driving or for speeding. So they've made a point to have, within Greater Madawaska, over the last while, a stronger presence on 511 and 508. And again, I would draw your attention to the website for the full report. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Thompson, I thought so.
You mentioned 511, 508. How about Highway 41 and Centennial?
I'm sorry, you're right. Those two, because of the Griffith Mile was also an area where they had a lot of presence. They'll be looking at presence in that area again following last year's complaints and observations around motorcycle traffic. So it's on their radar and they're starting to be more proactive in those areas. Thank you for raising that.
Thank you. All right, we will move on then. We'll move on to 10.1, tender PW 06-2026, double surface treatment, resolution 68-26, sorry. Moved by, oh, sorry, we need the resolution first. Let's go that way.
That council award tender PW 06-2025 double surface for 3.6 kilometers of Graphite Bay Road, 1.9 kilometers of Kennedy Road, and 230 meters of Cooper Hill Road, and 450 meters of Wolf Rapids Road to Greenwood Paving Ltd. for $392,622.23, including net HS.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Popke. Background, please. Steve?
So the 2026 capital budget includes the road reconstruction of section of Graphite Bay Road, Kennedy Road, Cooper Hill, and Wolf Rapids. We issued the tenders in March with the tender closing date in early March, and the tender closing dates in March 30th. When we opened the tenders, they were two, one from Greenwood Paving for $392,622.23, and from Miller Paving for $449, $430, and 46 cents. So based on the evaluations of these two tenders, we would like to award Greenwood Paving Limited for the $392,622.23, including net HST. For financials, the budgeted amount for the surface treatment for all the projects I budgeted for $410,925 combined, and there will be $18,302.77 under the budget that I budgeted for.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? No, and Steve, thank you your budgeting was pretty bang on. I mean, so good on you for that. And both tenders were from two very positive companies, so that's great. So I will call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Now move, excuse me, move on to 10.2, reallocation of funds from dump box to roll-off truck. Resolution 69-26. Back, resolution, please.
The council approved the reallocation of $20,000 from the 2026 capital budget for the dump box for the roll-off truck to the purchase of a new air compressor, steel shelving, and hydraulic press for the Calabogie Public Works Garage.
Okay, do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, seconder, Councillor Levesque. Background, please, Steve.
So in 2026 capital budget, council approved the $20,000 for the purchase of the dump box for the roll-off truck as recommended by staff at the time. It was anticipated that the truck would have increased availability to support the additional hauling for the roads department due to the operation changes with the new circular material agreement at the transfer sites. However, the new agreement, the township will still continue to do all the hauling with being reimbursed accordingly. Given this, staff recommended deferring the dump box purchase for 1 year to better assess actual usage and needs to avoid the investment in the equipment that may not be used. At the same time, there are more immediate operation and safety needs within the Calabogie Public Works Garage. The current air compressor, it was installed in 1981 and is no longer keeping up with the operation demands and impacting of the use of the air tools. Also, the health and safety reports that we've been doing, it's been noted on there many times that a lot of our flammable equipment or fluids like oils and all that stuff, they need to be in steel cabinets now. Not we have them all in cabinets, but they're all wooden. So that we need to look at purchasing steel cabinets for all the flammables. And we can see if there was any funds in when this is all, these two major ones, we would really like to purchase a hydraulic press, and that's for just wheel bearings and all kinds of stuff that needs to be pressed for fixing this equipment, and that we're driving to places to get this stuff done, and it just would be more efficient to have our own in our own shop. So so for the financials right now, we've got a couple prices approximately around $6,000, and plus there could be some installation charges to hook up a new air compressor. The steel cabinets, the pricing is to be confirmed. We're looking into options like we're going to look at new and used options. Maybe there's some we can purchase already used to put in. The total cost expected to remain within the $20,000 mark of the money.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, discussion from council? No, seeing none, I think it, just before I call the question, I just thank Steve for you and your staff to be able to realize that you need to take that time to quantify if that box is needed, and then the redistribution of funds for what's needed now. So I thank you for that. And I'll call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 10.3, traffic safety concerns. Springtown County Road 508, Calabogie Road, Resolution 70-26. Resolution, please.
That council directs staff to submit a request to the County of Renfrew to undertake a comprehensive review to traffic and safety conditions within the Springtown corridor along County Road 508 at a cost of $750, representing the county's review fee.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Tripp. Background, please. Steve? Is it Steve on this one again? Or is it Renee?
I can, sure. I don't.
Yeah, I can go, Steve. Steve can add if we need him to add anything.
He's your backup. He's your backup.
So what we have here is we've received over the last few years some concerns about the area on County Road 508 from Fraser Road to Norway Lake Road. These would have been in the past more of seasonal properties that are more inhabited now full-time, and the residents are walking, and so there's lots of pedestrian. The room, and the issue with the speed and the width of the road has been a concern. So we've had discussions with the County of Renfrew following the concerned residents being forwarded to us. The county said that they don't look at these types of components unless the township provides a resolution to request it. So the residents, although it's a county road, they have been transferred back to us to council to make a decision on if this is worth looking at. We do have, I was able to pull from the county, and I put it here, the traffic study for September of 2025 and November 2024. These studies were utilized to complete actually the road reconstruction that's happening over the next 2 years or 3 years. So we're able to look at that, and so you can see the volume of traffic is pretty significant. And also the months that they've looked at is September, November. At this point, they are saying that they would not review anything other than potential signage and lighting, not the actual speed. So the request here is for them to do a full review. This would be actually doing traffic studies into the more of the June, July versus the September, November to really identify usage. I mean, average usage, even in September at 3,200 vehicles per day is pretty significant. And then it's the tight corners in that area, pedestrians, driveways, all of that. So this is just a request for this to be forwarded to the county for them to proceed with the review.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Councillor Levesque.
Thank you for that. With the remaining sections of 508 being done over the next 4 to 5 years, is this an approach we might consider for doing that? Like, there's probably other areas that we either are receiving or may not even be receiving complaints from. Just curious if this is something we might consider, since it's only $750 for that section.
My understanding is, well, we need a good case to even make it worth doing it. In that section is the one that you hit the most, where there's some of the curves and most driveways and roads coming in. So that would be the most problem area, and even driving it myself, most probably could agree is when you go through that area, it's pretty tight and there's more walkers. But yeah, over time, we might look at it. And then we do run into an issue right now where they are starting construction over the next months from Burnstown to, I want to say, Fraser Road. So there might be already a slowdown of traffic, which is going to throw off the values probably for a few years.
Right.
So I get the thought behind it. There's only so much space there also, because we talked to them about having wider shoulders, which was also not really an option.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Tripp. Oh, I thought you put your hand up. My apologies. Any other questions, comments? The only thing I was wondering, and you just actually brought it up, was the construction that's going to be taking place, and how will that alter our numbers when they do the study? So is it the appropriate time to do it when the construction's on, or do you want to do it and then maybe do it again after the construction, once the new good pavement's in?
I feel there's a benefit in starting the process. I feel the numbers of September, November are quite significant. I could see value in that review based off of that, at least for signage. And so maybe if we can get the process going, I'll discuss with them the timeline and the impacts of the construction.
Thank you.
I don't think you're going to get any time in between, because they're doing sections year after year after year, so there's not going to be any downtime to get those traffic numbers, I don't think.
Thank you. All right, I will call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 11.1 under Protection Services Department Award SCBA Fill Station RFP Resolution number 71-26. Resolution, please.
The council award the SCBA compressor system RFP to Fire Check Protection for $70,314.32 plus HSE.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Popke. Background, please. Chief.
Good afternoon. You might not believe this, but I'm here for money again. The fire department requires a replacement of its SCBA air compressor and fill station. Our current system is actually from 1979, so it's done its job. The equipment is considered critical life safety equipment and must remain reliable and capable of supporting both current and future operational demands. As directed, staff initiated a procurement process for a new SCBA compressor. The RFP was issued on February 27th and closed on March 30th. To obtain proposals that meet the operational and technical requirements of the department, including a fully integrated fill station and compressor. The staff opened the proposals and confirmed receipt of 4 submissions, one from AJ Stone for $63,000 plus HST, one from FireCheck for $70,314.32 plus HST, Pacific R&R $74,476 and 12 cents plus HST, and M&L Supply for $74,525 plus HST. Sorry. Through the review process, the mini-CAT system was identified as a specified and preferred unit for the application. While lower cost options were received, they were based on modular system configurations requiring multiple separate components. So just to kind of fill you in, the one we're looking at is one unit, set in place, compressor, fill station, all built together. Some of the submissions came in with a compressor over here, piping, all that fun stuff over to our fill station, so it would take up a lot more room. As most of you are aware, we don't have the room. This will be a much simpler unit. It is also a little more high tech than the lower cost unit. So this approach provides a more efficient and practical solution for the department, both now and into the future. Additionally, the mini-CAT was the system unit specified in the RFP. The cost of the compressor system is $70,314 plus HST, which comes out to, with net tax is $71,551. This leaves us with a budget of $13,434, and it should be noted that we still have to do electrical on the sides.
Thank you. Before I open it up to the floor for questions, just for the public that's watching, can you tell them what the SCBA fill station does and why it's important?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year we were approved to purchase new SCBAs. Our older units were...
Tell them what an SCBA is.
Sorry, self-contained breathing apparatus. We use this for fighting structure fires, car fires, all that type of stuff. So they have a bottle on the back of them. They get filled full of air. We breathe it in. We were approved for new ones. New SCBAs. Our old ones were 2216 PSI. The new ones are 4500. So our old system actually isn't compatible with the new SCBAs, hence the replacement.
Thank you. Now I'll open up to the floor for any questions, comments, concerns from council. No, I thank you for the presentation. I understand how important this is for our firefighters. Could be life and death to them and other people. So this is very important. And as the community we grow, you need to be able to support it and move it forward. So thank you. I'll call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. So carried. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to, Ashley is here. Okay. We'll now move on to planning and development. 12.1 building permit report. This is an information item. I believe, Chris, you're discussing this or presenting.
Yep, thank you. So this memo is just to inform all of council and the mayor that how many permits have been issued this year for the first quarter, and a comparison for last year for the same time period, and also shows the building permit revenues that have been collected and the development charges that have been collected for this year for the first quarter and last year for the same time period. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? Thank you, Chris, for this information item. We will now move forward. We'll move on to 12.2 Calabogie Secondary Plan Progress Update Resolution 72-26. Resolution, please.
The council receives this report for information regarding the progress of the Calabogie Secondary Plan.
Okay, do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Levesque. Background, please. I think Ashley's on screen for us.
I'm here and my camera is working. Hello, everyone. All right, through you, Mayor, and two members of council, what we have before you this evening is a bit of a progress update on the Calabogie secondary plan, recognizing that you probably haven't been hearing how we're going with this, so we thought it was due time we bring you an update. So the project is a key piece of work for the township. It is focused on guiding how the village of Calabogie grows and evolves over the coming decades. So just to kind of refresh your memory, a secondary plan is a more detailed policy framework that sort of sits underneath the official plan. So what it'll do is provide direction on land uses that are permitted on certain properties, infrastructure, community design for that specific area, and specifically the village of Calabogie. So the purpose of the project here is to develop a clear and long-term roadmap that supports responsible growth while maintaining the character and natural features that define the community. So it's usually about a 20-year plan is what you're looking at. So again, it mentioned like kind of reiterating it, but it is important for you to understand that the land use pieces of it, like what goes where, infrastructure that may be needed, servicing constraints and trying to resolve those, transportation corridors, how wide roads should be, environmental considerations, and opportunities for housing and economic development all form part of that secondary plan. So the goal is to ensure that future growth is going to be both coordinated and sustainable. So in terms of where we are in the process, the project is currently nearing completion of the background review phase. So we did get a copy of the background review, and Renee and I are in the midst of reading through that. The phase focuses on building a strong understanding of the existing conditions, which is really important to set where we are today, where the constraints exist, and where there may be opportunities to move forward. The work is the foundation, as you can imagine, for the next stage of the project, where we begin to develop options and policy direction and get into that visioning framework. So what I want to emphasize is that public and stakeholder engagement actually form a key component of every aspect of this project. So although we've already done some key engagement measures, I don't want it to be the only time we communicate with our residents and council. As we move throughout this process, more information will be provided to the public and to council, and we're hoping that we'll continue to get feedback from each and every one of you. There are multiple opportunities for community, stakeholder, and council to be provided input and help shape the direction of the plan, and we'll keep you apprised as we move on. And yeah, a reminder that we do post quite a bit on social media as well when we're soliciting advice or soliciting input, so keep an eye there as well. So in terms of the next stages, this is the most exciting piece. This is when the policy starts to get drafted and the visions start to get made on what we want that area to look like. And all of it is informed by the background work and the community input that has already been provided. So we anticipate seeing draft concepts and policy direction to you before a draft secondary plan is prepared to make sure that everything is on the right wavelengths and we're headed in the right direction. So at this stage, this report is just highlighting where we are in the process, and we will continue to advance the work, and we'll return to council with further updates as the project progresses. That's all I got.
Alrighty. Thank you. I was waiting for another comment, so my
yeah,
apologies.
sorry. Nope, that's it. I'm good.
Alrighty. Any questions, comments, concerns from council at this time? No, thank you for that. That's, I'm glad everything is moving along. And it's I know it's got to be a lot of hard work, and I thank you and Renee for doing that. So
it's exciting.
Do we have, sorry. Oh. Sorry, what? Okay. We just need all in favor to receive this information. That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to bylaw 12.3, bylaw 23-2026, community improvement plan, resolution 73-26. We need a mover, or sorry, we need the resolution first.
That council receives this report for information, and that council adopt bylaw 23-2026, community improvement plan.
Hey, do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Poppy. Okay. I don't have many to choose from, so I try and bounce it around. Can we have the background, please?
Yep, certainly. So before you today is a report to council that essentially focused on some of the questions that came up at the last meeting and providing written responses to those questions. What I did want to highlight is that we did forward this the draft community improvement plan over to the county and did get comments back. So the bylaw, I believe, is drafted with the county comments taken into account. Most of the comments and concerns that they had in there was just the wording related to the HYPE program to make sure it was properly highlighted on how they disperse their funds. So just to highlight that the resident wouldn't go directly to county. They would come to us based on whatever program that we have. And then we would then submit something at the end of the year or maybe twice a year to get reimbursed from the county 50% of what we gave that resident. So it's a reimbursement method, not a direct deposit from the resident or from the county to the resident. So it was just a change of wording mostly in there that got modified. Other than that, it was in good shape and it should be ready for passing as long as council's okay with it.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Thompson.
A few places in this report and the secondary plan mention a trails master plan, the need for a trails master plan. Now, I recognize that, yes, we know we need one. I'm sure we can't do that master plan. Should we do that master plan at the same time as we're doing the secondary plan so that we can work on those connections?
Who's taking this one? Ashley?
I'll speak up to that. So the secondary, for pausing, for the secondary plan, you mean? We would, in my opinion, we would wait until that's complete because there's the connections pieces, but the secondary plan's mostly around the Calabogie village in that piece. There's benefit in maybe in the next iteration, you're speaking to the last report as well as the report about the trails. There was discussions when we developed the strategic plan last time for this current term regarding the paths and the potential. There's an opportunity for the next strategic plan to really take it to that next step on proceeding with that. We wouldn't need to have them as part of these components because these can grow from it. So, right, the CIP can still grow, all these policies can still grow, but the connections around trails, I wouldn't tie it to the secondary plan and that section. What we're doing though is as part of secondary plan, I'm assuming the consultant's going to come back with actual, the sidewalks, the walkable community component versus, trails outside connecting the communities together.
Thank you. Supplemental or you? Okay, Councillor Levesque, anybody? No? All righty, well, Ashley, thank you so much for this one. So I will call the question. All in favor? That is carried, thank you. And we have, moving on to 12.4, I guess Ashley's gone. We move on to 12.4, bylaw 25-2026, Long Street Lane Allowance Closure and Sale, Resolution 74-26, resolution, please.
That council approve bylaw 25-2026 being a bylaw to authorize the stopping up, closing, and sale of part of the unopened road allowance situated between concessions 8 and 9 in front of lot 15, concession 9, geographic township of Madawaska in the township of Greater Madawaska, designated as parts 1 to 14 on reference plan 49R19687.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Popke. Background, please. I believe this is Kristen's. Thank you.
So this report and bylaw before council relates to a proposed closure and sale of an unopened road allowance just adjacent to Long Street Lane. So you may recall in December, council previously directed staff to proceed with the notice and consultation process. This has now been completed. So essentially, road allowances in this case are only supported where the lands are not required for municipal use, access, infrastructure, recreational purposes, and where no concerns have been identified through the review process, which none have been observed. We did receive one consent application back that had no objection. So therefore, we are now essentially completing the final step here in the closure process, and once approved would allow us to proceed with the actual closure and conveyance of the lands.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Thompson.
this is really good to see completed. It's been, what, 12 years?
Yeah, over a decade for sure.
A long time. I'm curious about one component. There's one last piece of property that still has a road allowance. They've got their own access right at the end, and they've got lake access on that. What happens to that one piece of property?
So my understanding, because we have not necessarily been in contact with those individuals, if they were to approach us and they were agreeable to the conveyance, then we would proceed in that aspect. But until then, we'll leave things as is. And
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? No? Well, thank you. Been a long time coming. So I will call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 12.5, use of unopened road allowance, Kennelly Mountain Road, cross-country ski trail, resolution 75-26. Resolution, please.
The council rescind the January 2023 resolution number 1823 permitting the use of unopened road allowances in the vicinity of Kennelly Mountain Road for passive recreational purposes, including cross-country skiing.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. Background, please, CAO.
So if you would recall, in 2023, this resolution, which I've provided in the background here, was brought to council, which was working with Leslie Cassidy and Peter Shute for them to work through the unopened road allowance for cross-country skiing. At the time, there was concerns about the trespassing and encroachments from abutting owners. Since this has been passed in January 2023, that's been ongoing, and we have been in contact with resident solicitors as well as our own to discuss how to proceed appropriately. There's no survey to this unopened road allowance, and council had agreed that the surveying would be required by the user, which is normal practice. So at this time, due to the conflict and the concerns around it, and at this point, we're not really in a position to be dedicating funds to surveying unopened road allowance for private use or use of groups. We're looking to rescind this usage. The users have contacted, said they will cease using it themselves until this issue is resolved. So they're all in agreement that we won't do that. It won't be used at this time, but rescinding it just really shows that we're not using it, and then or allowing the use of it to be. It's more cutting. I mean, unopened road allowances are available, and at a point where again we're talking about this. Trails plan, if we head towards that at some point, it would be appropriate to consider where we would like some of our trails in our community to be and what that looks like, and go through the process of maybe serving at that time.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Popke.
This whole situation's been a fiasco basically from the beginning. But there's also sections of the unused road allowances on the flat road that are experience the same issues. Is it possible to include the flat road in this as well, and not just Kennelly Mountain Road end of it?
So what you have is unopened road allowances are available to the public. So in this case, we're rescinding that we allowed these residents or this user group to come in and cut within this unopened road allowance. But unopened road allowances can be used. So if you're talking about flat road, there may be, if there's concerns there with residents, it might be where they have to survey to see where the unopened road allowance is versus their property. We don't really have that control over use of unopened road allowances.
But it's the same group of people doing the same thing on the flat road.
Yeah, so here we had given them approval specifically for this area. So we've rescinded this area, which actually includes Kennelly, or the Kennelly Road and Flat Road within it.
Okay.
The whole resolution is rescinded. So sorry, I will read that to you. The council resolved to, this is the rescinded piece, that council resolved to permit the use of the unopened road allowance in the vicinity of Kennelly Mountain Road and Flat Road more particularly, and then it speaks to the sections. But otherwise, we wouldn't have control over if somebody used an unopened road allowance.
Thank you. So yeah, so we're rescinding something that we gave out in January 2023. We're just pulling it back because the users aren't using it, right? They've said they're not going to use it until it's resolved. So that's what we're actually pulling back. And yes, I understand flat road, and I know there was concerns that it wasn't mentioned, but when I read the resolution that we were pulling back, it had flat road in. So I thank you for bringing that up so that we could highlight that. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Oh, call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Oops, I'm ahead of myself. We'll move on to 13 now, Finance and Administration Department. 13.1, Bylaw 24-2026, Integrity Commissioner Services, 2020, from the years 2026 to 2030, Resolution 76-26. Resolution, please.
The council award request for proposal RFP Corp 01 2026 for Integrity Commissioner Services to Bogosian and Allen LLP, and that council appoint Bogosian and Allen LLP as Integrity Commissioner for the term of 2026 to 2030.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Levesque. And background, please.
So the Integrity Commissioner is appointed by council every 4 years, and the contract with our current Integrity Commissioner is expiring, I want to say, next week. So we went out to RFP and we received 4 proposals. After reviewing the proposals based off of the experience qualification, municipal experience, references, and fees, we're recommending here to proceed with Bogosian and Allen LLP. The agreement with this Integrity Commissioner is attached. I just want to also note that you probably have heard about it provincially wide. There is concerns about Integrity Commissioners and solicitors for Township serving a double purpose, being the solicitor and the Integrity Commissioner. In our RFP, we had requested that there not be that conflict to separate normal day-to-day requirement for legal services with the Integrity Commissioner that represents or works with council. So in this case, Bogosian and Allen are not our solicitor for other files.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? No, I'd like to thank you for this. And I did a little background on David, who's the lawyer from the firm. Great background as an Integrity Commissioner, very fair. In some of the resolutions that I read with him, he's from what I see, he's bang on each time. He takes into considerations the complaint, and he speaks to both sides, so that's very good. And you will note, if you do Google him, that there are a couple of community or townships, municipalities have terminated his contract before because they didn't like what his resolution was or what he came down with. But when I read those resolutions that they terminated him for, he was bang on. He was absolutely right. It just wasn't accepted by the council where it was. So I'm very happy to see this. So thank you. If there's no other questions or comments, I will ask the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. So carried. Thank you. We will now move on to bylaw. Where are we here? Bylaw 22-2026, final tax levy. Resolution 77-26. Resolution, please.
The council approved bylaw 22-2026 final tax levy, being a bylaw to provide for the adoption of the 2026 tax rates and to further provide for penalty and interest in default of payment thereof for 2026.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Tripp. Background, please. Jen.
Yeah, so good afternoon. So before you today is bylaw 22-2026, the annual bylaw required to adopt the township's 2026 tax rates and to authorize the collection of property taxes for the year. Following council's approval of the 2026 budget, the township's levy requirement was set at 4.9 million. The combined residential tax rate, this includes municipal, county, and education, for 2026 reflects an overall increase of 4.81%, which translates to approximately $105 per year for every $200,000 of assessed value. So this year's tax rates also reflect the county's implementation of new subclasses for small-scale on-farm businesses within the commercial and industrial property classes. These subclasses are intended to support farm-based businesses by applying a reduced tax rate, with eligible properties receiving a 75% reduction. The township currently does not have any properties within this subclass. To support council's strategic priority of open communication and engagement, staff have also prepared, again this year, a Where Do Your Tax Dollars Go information sheet to help residents better understand how their tax dollars fund municipal services. What's important to understand here is that our annual taxes on a home assessed at $200,000 are $2,299.51, but out of that value, the township only retains $1,065.39. So that's only 46.33% of what's collected. So over the next few weeks, we will communicate this information on the township's website and social media pages. So approval of this bylaw today will authorize the township to levy and collect the taxation revenues needed to fund 2026 operations. I'd be pleased to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Jen, for all the hard work on this. Any questions? I'll open up to council. There are none at this time. Just want to thank you. And one thing I'm just going to put out there to go forward is the new subclasses of the commercial farms. Just to give everybody, there are 8 farms in the entire county that fall into those subclasses. So it's not a major change that's going to affect too many of the townships. However, having to change the accounting software and putting it all in is quite the job to do. One question I have that maybe going forward, I don't know if we could do it liaising with the county, is we pay county's levies at 6.6. Just wondering if at the end of the year or at some point we can get information from county on how much they put back into our community, how much they've spent in the township, just to show ourselves, plus show the residents of what's being spent from the county in our community. And just to give them an idea, that'll give them an idea of how much those roads cost to put in. And so they have an idea of where that 6.6 is going. I'll throw that out there. It's just a thought. And if you could think about liaisoning with the county to figure out how much we're getting back from them. We put X amount of dollars in, we receive, and it'll change over each year because they do different jobs in different areas, in different municipalities, but it would give us a good understanding of, okay, why are we paying them? What are we getting back? Just a thought. I see the nodding from council. Thoughts on that? Is that?
It seems to be a bit of an accounting nightmare. Aside from that, as you said, there will be years where work is being done in one area, then in another, and anyone just coming into it will say, how come they get all this money? I think it could cause more problems than it might potentially solve, just because people will be, no fair, no fair. Like, that's what people.
Well,
there is that aspect, but I don't know, divided over so many square acres or square miles of township and see who's getting an equal amount. Maybe there is a way of doing it. But
I'm not even concerned about showing an equal amount. I'm just showing that where your tax money is going when it goes to county. Councillor Levesque?
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. Is it'd be great if the county had a similar thing that we had, which demonstrated where they're, because they have global things like paramedic services, for instance, and you'd have to break it down to, well, how many calls did we have versus somebody else? And so there's going to be things like that, but it would be great, I think, that people really understood where 6.5% or 6.6% of their taxes go.
Well, perhaps it's just perhaps it's a phone call to county, or you know what? Perhaps it's me bringing it up at county.
I guess that's.
I think that's probably what the best. Maybe I'll bring it up at county then, Jen. But if you get a call from county about it, you'll know. Councillor Tripp.
I think bringing it at county through you, Mayor, is the best way to put it on the floor. But I think, and the comments are right. There's paramedics, there's roads, but it's the trend of where the 6.6 goes. I think it's a really important message back to our constituents. we can't specifically say this week we spent this much on roads, but we could talk about the cost of a road per kilometer. We could talk about the general application of paramedic services and other key things that the county provides. But it is good to have that. We do it for the mill rate that's coming into our township from our residents. It would be good to show that same graph in terms of where their county money is going. But if you could raise it, that would be a good start.
Yeah, I know county does a similar of where your money goes but it's holistic over the entire county. And this is not for now. This is maybe next year or the year ahead, but I just thought maybe people might want to get the same input just for our township as from county, but I will leave it at that. We're not going to be directing staff at this time to be doing anything. It's just a thought. Okay, so we'll leave it at no direction at this time. I'll bring it up at county. Okay, thank you. So I will call the question. Do we need the resolution reread? No, all in favor. That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you, Jennifer. We'll now move on to 14, other. Health, economy, adaptation in a rural community, HERE initiative. Motion brought forward by Councillor Thompson, resolution 78-26. Resolution, please.
That council directs staff to support the health economy adaptation in rural communities HERE initiative by sharing information about the upcoming survey through municipal communication channels and local media at no cost to the township to increase public awareness and voluntary participation.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, you'll be moving your own, I assume, and Councillor Levesque can second. Background, please.
Yes. This is a project that came up at Rural Ontario Municipal Association, ROMA, conference, and it is fully backed by ROMA. In fact, the president of ROMA was on our last Zoom call, so it is an important one for all rural municipalities. HERE, HEAR, is a 6-year, large-scale, community-engaged research pilot program. You have to say that slowly. It's got a lot packed in there. That will collect and integrate data on rural health, economic well-being, and environmental adaptation, HEAR. Data will be collected through a province-wide household survey to be mailed every 2 years, beginning in early summer of 2026. 300,000 surveys with prepaid return postage will be sent to rural Ontario households, covering about 20% of Ontario's rural population. Household participants will also be invited to fill in an online survey that's specific to individuals, and this is with complete anonymity. So if your household has, in general, doesn't think they've got a problem with an addict not finding services, but an individual does, then that can give some information that might be, just adds another level of information. This is an enormous population sampling. The project was initiated and is managed by Leith Deacon, all kinds of letters after his name, Associate Professor, School of Environmental Design and Rural Development, Rural Planning and Development at the University of Guelph, and is funded by the McCall McBain Foundation. He's a self-professed data geek living in the small community of Fergus, Ontario, so he understands the data gaps rural municipalities face. HERE will translate the data received into practical tools with a GIS dashboard to support local planning, funding applications, policy development, and community-led adaptation. These are a lot of the things that, unless you've got that data, it's really hard to get funding for something you just think you need. You know, it's when you say, yes, we need it, and this is why. By making rural conditions visible, measurable, and actionable, HERE strengthens evidence-informed decision-making and helps ensure rural voices shape Ontario's future. HERE will aggregate data collected through their surveys, Statistics Canada, and other data sources into a simple-to-use GIS-based dashboard that can be used at the basic level at no cost to municipal decision makers. So you'd be able to click on an area. I'm not sure how big an area, if it's a postal code or most likely postal code, and you can drill down, find the Stats Canada information, and find the health information, etc. So discussion, do I just carry on?
Keep going.
The success of this program depends on public buy-in to fill and return surveys. As 2026 is a census year for StatsCan, there is a potential for confusion regarding the two surveys. People could just be tired of filling in surveys, and there could be a concern about government overreach. How much data does the government need? Which is why it's important that people understand that how this is important to them. So this makes it important that municipalities use their communication channels to promote the HERE initiatives to their residents so that people will anticipate the arrival of the survey in their mailboxes and understand the value their participation will have as a way for municipalities to provide the right kinds of services to them where they're needed in rural areas. And this is something that at our last Zoom meeting, there were 119 people on that meeting through Roma, that was asked of all the municipalities to do to ensure the success of this. A simple way to describe the difference between what Stats Canada collects and what HERE will collect is that StatsCan data reveals what exists, but HERE wants to know what is needed. The intent of the HERE initiative is to reveal who can access services, who cannot, and why not, as well as where different types of services are needed. This is the type of information municipalities need to support local planning, funding applications, policy development, and community-led adaptation. To assist municipal communications, HERE will provide social media content for municipal dissemination, as well as news releases that municipalities can send to local media. There are no costs associated with supporting HERE other than staff time. The benefits will be enormous, and if this pilot project proves to be successful, it could become a permanent program that can be replicated across Canada. And that's all she wrote.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, discussion from council? There none seen. I'll ask the question then. One of what we do have though is they say they're going to assist municipalities. What I want to know is the data that we're collecting, we collect all the data and it goes where?
It will be amassed in a GIS-based dashboard that all municipalities can access. So if there's any information we want to know about, I don't know what's going to be on the survey, but say healthcare access, the sort of thing that we went to, we'll still do it, but went to Griffith, Dacre, and Calabogie to amass, we'll now have that available on a dashboard. Like we'll still continue to.
Okay, what I'm getting at is what staff time is going to be, like, where is this going to go?
It's all being done by them. They'll be aggregating all the information.
But I mean, once we get it on our end, we need somebody to be looking at it and analyzing it and how it affects us.
The same people who would want to access data for any of their projects would now have a better tool. So that we don't need more staff time. In fact, this will make everything more efficient.
Okay, so this is for planning? It's for
planning, it's for healthcare. I mean, the community, the health hub info would be really good to have all this information. So anything we're working on now, this will provide the data that'll make it easier to work on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, my concern was it's staff time and staff having to work on it or who it's being assigned to. But if it's just going to be a resource and it's not, doesn't take active time for staff to manage it and monitor it.
The only ask is just at the initial stages to convey the information to people so that there'll be a better buy-in. I mean, they're putting self-addressed envelopes, which is really will help buy-in. But if this is successful, there'll be something that potentially could be there beyond the 6-year pilot program.
Okay, so this is this resolution is us supporting supporting this program in the pilot project and does not cost us anything at this time and will be useful for data to assist staff.
Right.
I've summed it up. Okay.
Did you want to say something?
CAO?
I was just going to comment on it. I sat in on the session also with Councillor Thompson. And what it is they're developing a portal with information that you can use. We have a few of those in municipal world. Like I used to, when I was up north, I would use Midas, which was similar, where they pull information. This is different information from the community that you can pull. So when we were working on the health hub, you'd be able to go into that portal and pull from it. Not necessarily any work we're doing, they're just completing it across the province, and then we're able to tap into the information.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing this forward. I will call the question now. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to 15, bylaw approval. 15.1, bylaw approval resolution 79-26. Resolution, please.
Be it resolved that the following bylaw, 21-2026 confirmatory, be deemed read a first, second, and final time and passed by council at the regular council meeting held April 16, 2026.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. Background, please. Okay, I'm asking. I'm joking. All in favor? Thank you. Adjournment, 16.1, motion to adjourn, resolution 80-26.
That the regular council meeting of April 16, 2026 be adjourned at 5 p.m.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Levesque. All in favor? Thank you very much. We are adjourned.